Hello and welcome to a nice little video about making Project Alfie show ready. Yep. During this video you'll see me take an already nice car and turn it into a show winner. Or at least try to. Over 3 days you'll see me struggle with this. So, what do I want to do with Alfie before the weekend? Well, I'll tell you. I want to have the carpet spotless, the seats spotless, all of the door shuts nice and clean, the engine bay a bit more cleaned up, the boot spotless. Any other little blemishes I can take care of, I'll do that. And then one wash the night before. It's pointless doing it now because it'll be dirty again in a couple of days. But I want this car to be something I can be very proud of. And I am very proud of it. But I want to, be even more proud of it. What I'm looking for at the moment though is that auto glim stuff for cleaning the dashboard up with. That I acquired off a couple of chaps who turned up and they gave it to me. Or at least I think they gave it to me. But I can't find it now and it's frustrating a bit. You could probably guess some of my routine, which is come in work, open the door, put the kettle on, put my truck battery on charge. But before any of that, I had to find the switch for the most infuriating, impatient man alive. There we go. Air conditioning switch for turb. Eat some toast. So the next thing I obviously need to do should be to get rid of my beard, or at least some of it. I would consider getting rid of all the hair as well, but I'd get shouted at. One job I started a couple of weeks back and I think I should finish off today is this, the handle that I painted. The problem with taking something apart and then not putting it back together straight away is you forget how it came apart in the first place. Right, let's find out where these bits all go to. The pin goes through there, and then there's another pin on the other side to hold this bit together with the spring, which should go just there. Yeah, well this one's definitely a bit ruined, as you can see. Even pressing that bit down like that there, there's so much movement I can't possibly stay. I've got the rather jolly job of taking the door card off now. We can see this door card has been off before because that's not the original thing. That's not a problem though. I'll need a 10mm spanner for that because I can't get a socket on it because it's the window regulator's in the way. There's my new one, ready to go on. And there's the hole for it to go into. Now I've got to get this off as well. Obviously that's what's broken off of the old handle. There, I made it look too easy, haven't I? Yep. Yeah, that's much nicer and it works. The only trouble with that there was that where the handle had been pulled and yanked before at some point, the actual bit that the 10mm bolt goes through it bent the door. So I had to bend it back to make it work. There we go. Job done. And job done properly as well, I might add. I know I'm not very good at showing you how to do things, but that door card was remarkably easy actually, because as you put it back on, you get it in the gap and slide it along. That helps, doesn't it? And then once it's in place on the top, it just pops straight back in. That's it. Amazing, eh? Isn't that helpful? Maybe that's the Honda engineering side of the car, whereas the 75 is a BMW engineered car, and the door cards are horrendous. The next job I'm tackling is cleaning the engine bay, which of course is completely unnecessary and is not something I've really done before. But last year at the Gaydon show I turned up in Nigel with a filthy engine bay, and I would like to say I felt a bit embarrassed, but I didn't. You know, because I just thought it doesn't really matter, does it? But then when you look at other people's engine bays and they're all lovely and pristine, plus as sad as it may be, some people like it and they look at that engine bay and they want to talk about it. Nobody's going to look at an ordinary engine bay that's full of dirt and say, oh yes, that looks exactly as it should do. No, they're just not going to look at it at all, are they? I would say that looks pretty good now. I could go a step further and start taking things off and cleaning things individually. Taking the airbox off, taking the inlet manifold off, putting it in the bath, taking all of the pipes and everything off and cleaning everything individually so you can get a good view of the actual engine bay itself. But what level of insanity would you need to be on to start doing that kind of thing? You can't stop, because the trouble with dirt is that the more you clean off, the more you see is still there. It's like cutting things in half. You can never actually get rid of anything by cutting it in half. No matter how many times you cut it in half, there's still a bit left. These bits down here bother me. I don't know why that's like that. The paint's kind of faded in places, and look, it's not even very shiny there, and I don't even know that could possibly happen. And but that bothers me. And then there's bits of lithium grease still stuck on there, which obviously you need it for the hinge, but you don't really want it there. But how long do you keep doing this for? So now I'm sat down on the floor, which is comfortable, starting to polish the bits of the door shuts there. Honestly, I'm starting to think there might be just something a bit wrong with me here. It's completely pointless doing this unless somebody sees it. So what am I going to do? Invite people to look at the inside of my door so I can show off about it? Not a good idea, especially when you consider that other people will have done exactly the same thing but spent a lot longer doing it and made it look much nicer, and I'll just feel completely stupid. One of the problems with the paint under the bonnet is it's not lacquered, so it comes off when you start cleaning it slightly. Need a bit more work on this here because there's still some scuffs knocking about. And I have to clean all this, and then how about this here? That should be much shinier, shouldn't it? How about it? Quick going over with the metal polish, it certainly made it look a bit brighter, but the scratches still remain. Many years ago I used to just buy a tub of peanut butter, smooth peanut butter, put it on all of the plastics, and it did a remarkable job. And then I tried that about 10 years later and it didn't really seem to work too well. So maybe my spreading technique isn't as good as it used to be. There we go, it's getting better with every step. Slightly better with every step. Right, anyway, so before I continue with the Alfie thing, I just got thinking about bananas and the shape. So you see the banana has these edges on it like that, and it makes me wonder whether that was the inspiration behind the spanner. Unfortunately, I don't have a spanner quite big enough to actually turn the banana, but my theory stands because you look at the edges on that, it's perfect for gripping, you know. So when the first monkey mechanics come along and they could hold a banana better, that had these ridges on it, that must have given them the idea for sockets and nuts and bolts and things like that. Yep. And it is because of that why mechanics are now known as grease monkeys. It's Good Friday, bank holiday. Easter weekend. Where is all the traffic? What's going on? Young lady in a BMW behind me with a child seat. How close will she get? Not too bad there, but as I slow down for the lights here, will she try and get into my boot? That's the question. No. How strange. This really is an unusual bank holiday. Moving on then, time to tackle the inner arches where lots of dirt and clag builds up. I don't really get the opportunity to clean under the arches very often because quite simply you need a jet wash for that and I don't have one. So here we have just a bucket and a sponge that behind all of the panels you'll find bits of sponges and things, and I end up keeping them because you can do jobs like this with them. And some of this stuff as well, which it might seem a bit extravagant using Maguire's quick detailing mist stuff, but you know there isn't actually any in there, it's just some citrus cleaner. Dirty, clean, or cleaner. Having spent quite a while jacking the car up and cleaning under the arches and stuff like that, it looks a bit better, but it's never going to be perfect. I'm just not really going that far. So the next thing to do is get all this plastic or the black stuff looking properly black again, because washing, waxing, polishing, all that kind of stuff makes the black turn grey and leaves chalky marks everywhere. Sorry for the silence, but there's some copywritten music being played in the background that I don't want you to listen to. Normally I'd just spray this stuff straight onto the plastic, but then it gets on the paint. You don't need this on the paint, and then dirt sticks to the paint and then it looks bad again after a day. So instead I'm spraying it onto a bit of tissue and then wiping it straight on the plastic from there. I spent ages vacuuming this car, but the seats are a slightly different matter. They're just a particular type of material that things stick to and you can't really vac off very easily. But I have a solution to this. From here the seats look rather good, of course, but then you get closer and you can see these little bits everywhere, these little fluffy bits, and the vacuum cleaner doesn't like to pick them up. So the answer is that's what you get. Friction with water, get it all together, and you can scrub it off with your hand basically. I think I can be quite proud of that actually. Although my full intention was to be going to these shows in Project Nigel, the one happening tomorrow, the Hubnut social event, obviously it's not going to be ready, but this is. And I think I can be quite proud of that car. I think it looks fantastic. And the more I do these minor jobs with them, the more I look at it, the more I just think it's fantastic. There we go. One complete, properly cleaned car. Every bit of it done. Yes, that's the most cleaning I have ever done on a car. I've got over half a tank of petrol and I'm ready to go to Leeds in the morning, which is only 40 miles away, for the Hub Nut Social. But now I've got COVID, so I can't go.